Hi, today we're going to talk about converting degrees, minutes, and seconds to decimal degrees or decimal degrees to degrees, minutes, seconds. All your angular measurements should be noted in degrees, minutes, and seconds, but when you do calculations, a lot of times you have to convert those to decimal degrees. So we know that there's 60 minutes to a degree and 60 seconds to a minute. That means there are 3,600 seconds to a degree. And so what we're going to do is look at the math on how you convert this manually. So the first one we'll deal with is degrees, minutes, and seconds to decimal degrees. So let's take a simple example and we'll see how this works. We take 10 degrees and 30 minutes. We know that 30 minutes is half of a degree. And so that would equal decimal 10.50 degrees. Right, so the math behind that is like this. 10 degrees, or degrees, plus our minutes over 60. So that would equal 10.50 degrees. Alright, so let's look at something that's a little more complex. It actually has seconds. So let's look at, again, 10 degrees. 30 minutes, and we'll add 50 seconds. Well, what this does equal decimal-wise is 10.5139 degrees. So the way we get that is we take our degrees, again, 10. We take our minutes, divide that by 60 again, so 30 over 60. And then we take our seconds and divide that by 3,600. That equals 10.5139 degrees. Now, how I actually do that on my calculator anyway is what I first do is I take the seconds. So I take the 50, divide that by 60. And that equals 0.83333. I take that number and I add that to my minutes. So now I have 30.8333, and I divide all of that by 60. That equals my 0.5139. Then I just add that to my degrees. And I get my decimal equivalent, 10.5139. And I can usually carry those in my calculator, so that's the way I do that. Okay, so that's degrees, minutes, seconds to decimal degrees. Now let's look at going the other way, from decimal degrees to degrees, minutes, seconds. So let's start with what we had before, which was our 10 degrees, 0.5139. Okay, so from before, what we know is that's equal to 10 degrees, 30 minutes, and 50 seconds. Okay, so the way we do this mathematically is we take the fractional part of our decimal degrees. So we take the 0.5139 and multiply that by 60. And what that'll give us is the minutes. And so what it gives us is 30.83333 minutes. So now what we want to do is take the fractional part of our minutes. So we take that 0.83333 and multiply that by 60. And that gives us the seconds. In this case, that equals 50 seconds. So now all we do is we add each thing. We add the degrees, 10. We add the integer part of our minutes. So we add just the 30 minutes. And we add the integer part of our seconds. So we wouldn't normally show decimal seconds. We usually show everything to the nearest second. So that's as far as we would go. Now, this is how you do it manually, but any scientific or graphing calculator is going to have the capability to do this. It'll have functions that will do that, and it depends on the calculator as to how those functions show up. One common function is doing just what we did here, going from decimal degrees to degrees, minutes, seconds. It'll somewhere have a function that has a symbol that looks like this. It'll have a closed triangle, and then it'll have a DMS, and that's meaning from decimal degrees to degrees, minutes, seconds. So you see that, that's what that means on the calculator. This ends that session.